One Piece is an amazing series that has broken both 1,100 episodes and chapters, become recognized as the best-selling manga series, and has captured the hearts of many across the globe with its beautiful array of characters. But with a series this big, spanning a total of 25 years and counting, there are bound to be some lingering questions that are left behind as the series constantly progresses. And surprisingly, this story has quite a few important questions still left up in the air. So today, I wanted to talk about 5 lingering questions in One Piece and give my perspective on each of them. And if you like this type of content, make sure you hit the like button down below for me. Make sure you are subscribed, that way you know when each and every single one of my videos comes out. And let me know down in the comment section below if you want to see more videos like this, or if you have an idea of something that you'd like to see in the future. The first one is a pretty widely debated subject, but there seems to be one main theory that people seem to lean towards. If you're unfamiliar, there is a theory known as the Croco-Mom theory, that essentially states that Crocodile is in fact Luffy's mother. And the main evidence for this claim is when a character named Ivankov met with Crocodile during Impel Down. They make a statement about knowing Crocodile's weakness/secret, depending on which translation you read. And the intent by Oda could mean that Ivankov knows of Crocodile's obvious water weakness, or it could mean that Ivankov used their powers to change Crocodile's gender and therefore knows his secret, which I think is a little bit more applicable because why bring up Crocodile's secret if we, the audience, already know it anyways? If this is the case, then, with a previous connection to Ivankov, there is also a decent chance that Crocodile was in close proximity to Dragon. And so, the theory goes that Crocodile and Dragon, which is funny that they're both reptiles, got together one night, ended up having Luffy, and if anything, the burden of responsibility might be the very thing that convinced Crocodile to have Ivankov change his gender in the first place. Afterwards, I would assume he likely fled without Dragon knowing. Ultimately, I don't think the identity of Luffy's mother is all that important. One Piece is all about the connections you choose to make and often shows family, especially parental figures, to either be abusive or just absent. If Oda ever reveals the identity of Luffy's mother, I think that it'll be when we eventually see Luffy and Dragon meet for the first time. And I think the likelihood of it being Crocodile is less than 50%. But I like the theory though. Said to be the dominant political force during the Void Century and before the world government take over, this place has a lot of questions linked to it. One of, if not the leading figure on this century, and more specifically this location, Professor Clover, stated, "It appears they once had enormous power, but all information about this kingdom has been relentlessly erased. It is probable that these people understood that they would be destroyed by this alliance of nations, later called the world government. And as such, they carved the truth of their existence onto pieces of stone, which survive to this day. Without a doubt, the so-called ancient weapons could destroy this world. However, more importantly, history will reveal that the very existence and idea of this kingdom is in fact what the world government finds most threatening. We still don't know the nature of this threat, but the key is the ancient kingdom, and its name is..." And in that moment, unfortunately, Professor Clover was unable to finish that statement. There's a lot to unpack here, but now that we are several years past when the quote was first put to paper, we can now use context clues of what we know to make some educated guesses. One thing I want to bring to mind here is the fact that the world government, which was the 20 kingdoms who banded together, were the ones to destroy the ancient kingdom. This makes it very obvious that these two groups are enemies, or at the very least on opposing sides of some ideal. Now, one question is, who brought these 20 kingdoms together? Well, thanks to recent developments, we now know one of the biggest figures within the show, Emu, and we also know they've been around a long time, potentially since the aforementioned Void Century. So here's my hypothesis. Emu, the first recipient of the immortality surgery provided by the Ape Ame no Mi, was the one to form the 20 countries together in a direct effort of destroying the ancient kingdom, who is likely led by Joy Boy and Nefertari D. Lily. This was done in an attempt to capture all 3 of the ancient weapons after either they were refused to Emu, or possibly in an attempt to steal them, or something else. The fact that the idea of this place's existence is what the government is so scared of tells me that this place likely will be the final place we visit before finding the One Piece, and may even have information on what that is, and maybe even more about the Will of D. Speaking of Emu, who are they? Well, while little is fact and much is speculation, there are a few things that we do know for certain. We know that Emu has been around for a very long time, likely long enough to be behind the entire plot of One Piece and the 800 years prior to it. We know that Emu wants Vivi captured, likely because she looks exactly like Vivi from times past, and either A, wants to make Vivi his bride, B, she has a special bloodline or something locked inside of her, or C, Emu simply wants revenge on the family that turned away the world government 800 years ago. Though, if it was C, there's no reason to wait this late in the series, as Emu could have attacked at any point in time. In my opinion, I think Vivi is about to waken her inner Joy Boy now that Joy Boy has returned. Which isn't too far-stretched considering how Bonnie was able to take on the same form pretty recently. Bonnie touches Vivi, transforming her into a Joy Boy, and then Vivi's special ability or whatever activates. That's what I see happening. But anyway, back to Emu. Aside from that, all we really seem to know is that Emu is the one who is responsible for giving the elders their demonic powers. So, it seems Emu seems to serve as like the antithesis to Luffy, being dreams versus nightmares. In short, I think Emu will likely be somebody who is either a close friend or love interest in the Emu, Joy Boy, Lily triangle, and will ultimately separate from the group due to either a disagreement or jealousy, which leads to the events of today. And I think this will eventually be revealed when Emu has Vivi captured, and once again, Luffy and crew come to the rescue to pick up their final crewmate. Maybe my mind is too simple, but I really feel like this one is pretty straightforward. When it was explained to us that there's a chance that devil fruits are created by the will of people profoundly wishing for something, I immediately had a flashback to Mocktown, where Blackbeard talks about how dreams never die. And then I had a flashback to Luffy and crew all talking about their dreams, and how we don't actually know what Luffy's biggest dream is yet. Dreams. The will of dreams. The will of those who can look at the sad state of affairs and still hope for a better tomorrow as they push forward. Everyone who has the D moniker are capable of great change within the world, as they dream for a better tomorrow, for themselves, not necessarily for humanity. So, in very short, the will of D is simply the innate power of those who have a will strong enough to actively change the world around them. And I think it will be revealed that D stands for Dreamer. Okay, so the obvious elephant in the room is the question everyone has been asking since Chapter 1. The One Piece. What is it? What is the One Piece? It is said to be the greatest treasure left behind by the great Joy Boy himself, and has only been discovered once by the man Gol D. Roger. And when Roger and his crew discovered said treasure, they laughed to their heart's content. So what is it that Joy Boy could have left there that would have made Roger laugh, and also wish that he had lived at the time of Joy Boy? Okay, are you ready? I think it's a globe. Now, don't click off yet. Don't click off. I know that may seem kind of left field, but just follow me for a second. One of the shots during the show or manga that always really stood out to me for some reason was the shot of everyone staring at the giant planetary model on Ohara. This shot really struck me because if this is to be the One Piece world as we know/knew it, the geographical formations on the planet seem to be different than what we know now, though I could be wrong. But my point being is that I think that this is way more important than maybe some of us had initially believed, and something that will be referenced again. If Joy Boy left a globe of the planet in times past and showing the large amount of continents that once were, Roger would immediately burst into laughter, because he thought he was at the end of the journey, and that he had seen everything, from the bottom of the ocean to islands on the sky. But if Joy Boy left a globe of world times past, Roger wouldn't help but burst into laughter, knowing that even with all the time he had spent adventuring, in reality, he had but scratched the surface. and with death looming around the corner for him, there would be no way for him to even hope to search at all. Alas, life, and the sea herself, can be cruel mistresses. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like I said before, don't forget to hit the like button down below for me. Subscribe if you would, please. It would help the channel a lot. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. 500 is the first goal, but 1,000 is the next. If you have any ideas that you'd like to hear me talk about, or you want to see more One Piece content, let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.